This is my showcase of my Hat in Time mod. You can see first of all we've got an animated intro here which I did doing the system's matinee to move cameras. We got rotations, transitions between the scenes. Matinee is their custom animation system, and obviously we've got music set up here as well, just fading through different parts of the level here. You'll see in a second we have this shot that goes through the window there that I'm quite proud of, and then fading into the actual level. So I've got these collectibles here set up to try and guide the player in the direction they want to go, and obviously the smashed glass, a bit of visual storytelling here, particles going off, indicators. So we've got dialogue set up here, had to set up custom packages using various kind of in-text stuff to make those colours change. This is just to kind of set up, obviously we've got different custom choices, that's done with the kind of custom dialogue building system, very similar to what you'd have in Fungus. So you can see that, so I've got these kind of different effects on the dialogue here. Just kind of setting out how you've crashed into their ship and how you are going to help them fix it to kind of fix both of your ships up. Oh, another thing of note is the music here is relatively low-key, and you'll hear when the dialogue ends that the music will pick back up, more instruments are going to come in, and it's going to get a little bit louder. That's using their music trees system, which lets you kind of seamlessly fade between different songs. You'll also see here, if you talk to them again, there is a different set of dialogue, because you've already spoken to him, so he just gives a secondary clue if you don't already know what's going on. It's not shown in this video here, but if you have the wrong hat equipped to go here, it actually prompts you to change hat. Hopefully you should be able to figure out the correct one. That's just there because you can emote and leave emotes. That it's actually there because one of the lecturers who played it left it there. This wall here is just to teach players how to wall jump, although this is intended for people who've already played. A lot of people at Expo won't have. Then this here is just introducing how the collectibles work. You can also hear every time we go into conversation, I've got those kind of phone sounds set up just to kind of make sense why the guy is talking to you despite not being here, because he's calling you in through, like, you'll see there's always like these little speakers next to whoever he's talking. Now this is our kind of open hub atrium area, very kind of inspired by Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, these kinds of fairly open hub bits here. We got various different NPCs around with dialogue to see when you interact with them, and also ones which will speak as you approach, like you can see over here. And you'll see here as well we have dialogue that triggers on approach. This is just letting the player know where to go once they have completed the level. But if you were to walk back through them again, wouldn't reappear. The kind of collision box destroys itself. There you go, you can see cameras panning over, these boxes disappear once you've got enough collectibles and the number down the bottom changes. So in this way, although the level's fairly open, because you could choose to continue exploring this area, or you could go into these. You've kind of got these linear sections branching off. They kind of open up one by one in order of difficulty, but you can kind of approach them whatever order you want. You'll also notice that outside there, those words showed up saying what this place was. That's actually an NPC hidden on the walls talking. Here we've got an escalator volume, or conveyor volume rather. I have it set up and kind of pushes the player, makes it look like the escalator one is actually moving. There's actually, I don't show it off in this video, there's a couple exploits in this section you can use to skip ahead. And I initially thought about cutting them, but I thought it was more fun, because if you as the player are good enough at movement to get a little further ahead in an area, that doesn't really matter if you do. It feels a lot better to feel like you've outsmarted the developer, rather than, you know, having an invisible wall telling you, no, you can't go there. It's just not any fun. And we've got these collectibles up here that just kind of guide you back to the start of this section. Originally I had collectibles all over and it was just a bit boring. So I kind of turned it into more of a path leading you back. I don't show it here, but kind of over to the left, there would be another collectible there, a bit of a rarer one. Unfortunately, you can only collect it once per level, and on my save file I've already picked it up, so it's not there. But when it's run on the uni computers, at least whoever is marking this first, you should see it there. Kind of big glowy rainbow coin. Just as an incentive to go a little out of field. You know, so we can see we kind of looped back to the start here. I think in a second, yeah, I show off, we've got some little shops in here. They're just for flavour. You can buy some food if you want. They're just for fun.
Triple scoop.
There's a couple of these around the level.
At the right temperature and...
But generally, you'll see with these like very simple jumps on this here, I wanted the atrium area here, again, although this is intended to be kind of DLC level difficulty, I wanted to account people at Expo for this atrium area to be really a playground to figure out the basics of movement and to kind of learn the skills that you'll use in the other sections. So I hope this section here doesn't have a big flashy door like the rest. I'm hoping the kind of collectible sticking out through the wall there will kind of hint to players, you know, you can come into the shaft here. I saw some people testing this. They noticed the ventilation shaft on the roof that you actually leave, and they kind of are able to figure it out from there. You'll see this enemy that turns invisible here causing me a bit of trouble repeatedly. Okay, another section unlocked. You can see each of the doors that have something unlocked you unlock behind them. They all have slightly different designs. That one had like cogs and pipes around it. You'll see me head over there in a second. So this section through here is our engine room, and it's probably the section I'm most pleased with aesthetically. This was the first one I decorated, and I think it came out the best. Another fun little movement exploit in here, which is nice. You can kind of skip a few bits if you want, but you have to kind of already know what you're doing. So I think it's a good reward. You know, you can use these moving platforms here to get up. I had to set those up manually. Actually, they're using the animation system, same with this big cog. But which, as you can see, does cause a few problems with the cog. It's just visual, mechanically everything's still working as it should. It's a bit of a pain, but I think the set piece of the cog is cool enough to be worth it. Just a little side bit here to fill the space. You can see we've got that platform down there. It catches you, because a lot of people had trouble with this jump, and I did make it easier, but I also put that platform there so that you're not falling all the way down to the bottom. Something quite cool you'll see in a second is once we go past this tightrope here, the music is actually going to pick up in intensity. There we go, you can hear it now. New instruments come in, it gets a bit more exciting. If you were to fall back down, the music drops in intensity again. I'm really quite pleased with how that worked out. Yeah, you can see another one of those speakers here letting you know there's some dialogue. And because the music dims out a bit, you can hear the sound effects a little bit better. You can see here, as we've completed that, boom, camera pans over, we can progress. I'm really quite pleased with how that came out there. You don't really see the vent opening, but I think it's pretty obvious where you go. So the next section I show in a second is the space section, and it's by far the hardest in the game. Actually, I'll get back to that in a second because there's a few other bits I show first. I think I show off the diving pool over here in a second. Yeah, you can see a different kind of dialogue box there with like an internet style review. Most of the NPCs have some kind of dialogue. This one here has got both walking up and talking to them dialogue. I just wanted to see if I could do that really. These are actually kind of like flat animated planes here that then have a invisible water volume put over them. That's how I got the water to work. You can see this seal talking about how their table's broken there, and these guys are very excited about their sandwich. Yeah, so the space section. This is the hardest in the game, and it has a couple problems with it, a little bit janky. I think I've got it to a good place, but I didn't want players to go in here and get stuck and feel frustrated. So as you'll see in the dialogue here, I've made a number of ways to kind of exit this area. It's a little bit of a band-aid solution, but I think it works well enough. You can see you've got this shuttle here you can immediately use to go back inside. You'll see there's different cannons pointing back throughout this section which you can use. But overall, I'm actually really, really pleased with the atmosphere I got in this place. I would have liked to fill it with a bit more space junk, but I didn't want it to be too cluttered. See, we use one of the other hats here, the Dweller Mask. Which this is part of the reason why it's such a difficult, challenging section, because as you can see it runs out. And also we got lots of moving stuff up ahead. But part of the reason I don't mind this being a bit of a difficulty increase is because it's the last to unlock, and because I have made it so that you actually don't need to complete every section in the game in order to win. You could do just most of them. You actually don't need to do every single one. And I wanted that to be the case, that you can kind of pick and choose the ones that seem most interesting to you. You don't have to feel like you have to complete everything. I wanted to try and recreate the feeling of those kind of early 3D collectathons where there's a whole lot to do, and you don't need to do all of it. A lot of it's kind of more difficult or hidden stuff's there for you to find. In fact, there's a whole other like tiny secret room in this level that I don't show off in this video, which is kind of just a little Easter egg for players to find. Because I just like the idea of this level not requiring you to do everything. Then, just as a little fun kind of flavour or world building thing, we got the inside of the little shuttle here, talking about how it's so cozy you won't even realise before you're back. Yeah, just showing off the cockpit there. So we're making our way back over to the exit here. You can see it's got a slightly different style door, and you'll see here. Timepiece, that's our big kind of end-of-level collectible. It would normally not be invisible, or transparent, I guess. It would be rainbow glowing. I've already collected it on this save, hence why it's like that. There you go, we've got it, finished the level, and we'd be taken back to the hub world.